Ich muss eigentlich mal gar nicht schreien. Does anyone need an English translation before we start? Otherwise I would do it in German. Yeah? Okay. Then we do it in English. Okay? Or both. Or whatever. Are there any questions yet? Gibt es denn schon Fragen von Ihnen? Oder sollen wir erstmal ein bisschen plaudern? Plaudern. Ja, ich habe mich jetzt gefragt, ich habe es ja schon ein paar Mal gesehen und jedes Mal kommen andere Aspekte, die ich toll finde. Und jetzt habe ich mich gefragt, bist du eigentlich für oder gegen Psychoanalyse? Are you for or against psychoanalysis?
Well, you should ask if I'm for or against psychotherapy. You know, psychoanalysis is another thing. I've never done it. Psychotherapy I've done. And I don't have anything against it. That's what I can say. If I'm for it, I don't know. It depends on the person who does it. I would probably say I've had different, therapists, and some of them, I don't know if I would send people there, but others were very good.
So your experience with that, was that the reason for the script, for the idea for the script?
Some of it actually. The story with the little tree, you know, surrounded by the wall, is by a psychotherapist that I would never send people to. So it's a mashup of real stories and total fiction.
Maybe you can say some more about this body thing that is behind all that, the little con artist and this big old man of psychoanalysis.
Well, actually, my co-author, Joseph Lechner, is kind of the role model for Nick, in a way, except for the criminal parts of his characters. He's been living like this. He's been kind of buying books for €2 on a flea market and then selling them for €20 for antiquariats. And he's living off that. And he's a very intelligent, well-read guy. And we know each other for a long time. He's been living most of his life in Munich. And parts of this life were with an old man, and they had a very special relationship, and there's different things still remaining in the film that come from this encounter. And that was the beginning of the script, and that kind of all these things, it's for example, the scene where Nick goes swimming naked, that's something that really happened. And there were all these little incidents that inspired me to do a film about that, and I like this kind of very resisting relationship between those very special guys. I mean, that's what fascinated me.
Was there a role model for this older lady, the lady that this artistic, very free-spirited lady or two?
Yeah, there's a role model. On the one hand, the real lady wasn't called Tischmann, she was called Schulman. So we didn't go far for our name inspiration. But actually one role model was Louise Bourgeois, in terms of, you know, clothing and how she, because she also had in her New Yorker flat, she always had people there and invited people and had special relationships. And we thought it'd be fun to have kind of an artist figure like that as a friend of course, and to have this Japanese counterfeit for Nick in a way.
The timing is, of course, enormously important for a comedy, and this is your first comedy. We know your other movies that are wonderful too, but how could you do it, this timing? How could you do it so perfectly? Did you try to, I don't know, get inspired by other comedies, or how did you do it?
Well, I mean, it's great that you think it's perfect. I mean, that's an attempt to do it. And I've been inspired by lots of comedies. I love comedies for all my life, and I wanted to do a comedy for a long time. And it turned out, actually, I mean, in writing we had lots of fun. Josef and I have this kind of joyous part of conversation for a long time, but doing the mise en scène and especially the cutting was a hard one, I must say, because in the cutting you notice that rhythm and a certain concept of what is funny and what isn't funny is needed, and it's very difficult in some parts. In this film it was the way that mostly the scenes in themselves were quite funny, but if you would put them together, there was always something missing in the storyline. It was very hard to get the storyline right, and also to prepare the viewer in the right way for the rest of the film. And we took a year of cutting, which is very long for me, and it was quite hard, but also with a very good Berlin-based cutter, we managed, and I'm very happy with what came out.
Before we get carried away, any questions from your side? Not. content with listening. Oh, there's one. Yeah. There's a microphone.
What is in the cup?
This is wonderful latte macchiato from Cinemax, you know, this is fabulous.
Maybe you can say as last thing something about to me that these two people have dialects from Alsace and from Austria really makes them even more authentic. Was it already in your mind when you wrote it?
Not so much, no. When we wrote it, it actually was, I mean, it's placed in Bavaria, so Nick was a Bavarian guy in a way. He had Bavarian dialect, and Kurt didn't have a dialect at all, you know. So because we said it's this star psychologist, and then we found out that André Wilms could speak German, which was a great revelation for us, and I wanted to have him right away, but he speaks this kind of French, German with a French touch, because he's Alsatian. And I thought, you know, Alsace was at that time, at the time of the Nazis, to a great part German, so I think it wouldn't be a problem to say he's Alsatian and he's a Nazi. So we said, okay, let's keep it that way, and let's have everybody just talk their own tongues, kind of their own dialects. So some of them are talking Austrian dialect, some of them are talking Bavarian dialect, some of them are talking the French dialect. So I thought it's kind of nice, you have all the European, or German European dialects come together in this film.
Okay, dann bedanke ich mich. No, Entschuldigung, ich noch nichts.
Hi.
Erst da hinten, first you. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, what inspired you to create these two figures of the bad guys who are working with Mama and the figure of Mama? Because René, as I saw him coming out, I'm Mexican, and he looks pretty much like a Mexican drug guy that we have pretty much problem with them now in Mexico. So where do they come from? And also the fat guy. I mean, okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we wanted to have, we were saying, you know, okay, Nick has to have some kind of criminal relations because he's under pressure to go to the country and so on. So we said, okay, that there must be these criminal guys. And we thought it'd be very interesting if you'd had this kind of very rough criminal guys who were dealing with books, because it's such a contradictory, you know. And for one of my favorite pictures is when Kurt goes through this hall of Buddha and passes the very fat guy, kind of putting together very meticulously these books. I mean, it's so absurd. So I had the feeling we have to also dress and cast them like tough guys, so that it does the most effect. So I'm very happy that you say that they're looking like Mexican gangsters.
There was another one, I think, yes. Could you wait for the microphone and the others?
Oh, I have a microphone before, sorry.
Whoever has a microphone has to go.
Okay. I'll let you use it after. I just want to congratulate, and I want to ask, how long did you work on dialogues? I think they're really very good, so, yeah.
We worked for a long time, actually. We started writing in 2008, and but with long pauses because I did another film in between. But Josef and I actually, Josef was in Berlin, I was in Lucerne, and we did Skype calls for like 6, 7, 8 hours. And screen sharing, I was always typing, and he corrected me if I said something wrong. And I think he has a real genius in finding out dialogues, funny dialogues, strange stuff to think of. Actually, there's been much stranger stuff that we have in the film. We reduced it a little bit. But I think that's one of the things that he can really do well, and I'm happy that he likes it.
Did you have any kind of role model of foreign German intellectual being involved in speaking or writing, or revealing his involvement in this? Did you get me?